Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my Let's Play of the Elder Scrolls Online. In our last episode, we had just defeated Balreth, or binded him back to Ash Mountain, luckily, with the help of Mavos. And in this episode, we continue our journey over towards Ebonheart, which is the main city for Stonefalls here. So go inside, see what's to be done, and continue our quest.
How about a coin or two?
Hold there, Sarah.
Nothus,
I've got a message for you.
a message from who?
It's a message from Drathus Othral, the leader of the Dark Elf quarter in Ebonheart. He sends his compliments, and he wants you to help the town resist a nearby Covenant invasion.
Does he need me to fight?
No, he just needs you to talk. House Drez isn't popular. The Nords and Argonians in Ebonheart won't speak to him. And the other Dark Elf houses don't like the Drez much either. Convince the townspeople to work together. Then speak to Othral.
I'll see what I can do. Okay, now we gotta unite the citizens of Ebonheart. Wonder what's brought them so far apart, you know? Wonder what happened. This
Have
lady...
we been led into Era?
Yeah, I believe that's a DLC person, so we won't talk to her. But we got our first little section of citizens down here, I believe. Nice little tumble. See what we can do to help these guys. He is just sitting on a campfire. They can be comfortable, man. Are you okay? Look at that. That's impressive, actually.
Honor for the pact, they says. Hardy ha ha, I says. What brings you to this god's-forsaken dark elf dunghole? The beer in this land is fit only for pigs. Good thing we brought our own. Have the elves asked you to help beat back the Covenant yet? Duh. To Sovngarde with them.
Were you asked to help fight Covenant soldiers?
Aye. The milk drinkers landed to the west at that big yellow tree thing. Now the Drez have got their skirts in a twist. Oh, please save us, big strong Nords. Fancy lads, the lot of them. They think Nords only exist to save elven asses.
What if the soldiers attack Ebonheart?
Bring them on. We don't skeever out of a fight. When we're attacked, we fight. I wager you think we should fight for the rest of the pact. All right. Prove they've got some backbone. Let's see you beat 3 of my men, and do it the Nord way.
Okay, I can do that. What's the Nord way?
We fight drunk. We've got a keg of fine, strong mead from Riften right here. Pour yourself a mug and get to it. Unless you're too fancy, of course.
Oh, I'm not too fancy. I'm not fancy at all. And, okay, so we got a cup. I think we have to interact with it here. Is it consumable? Where's it at? Or do I just drink it? There we go. And now we fight. Wagon escort. I'm assuming this is someone I can challenge.
I signed up to guard these wagons for the money. And guarding's the only thing I take money for. You got that?
Fight me! Or are you too drunk to dodge a punch?
You could only beat me if I was blind stinking sober. And I'm not. This won't take long.
What you got, girl?
Whoa, Sabercat. Let's go back to drink. You got me. Hey, you're not bad. right! You'll have to find someone else to brawl with. I just need a moment to catch my breath and stop the bleeding and get another mead. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, I do. I didn't expect to take on both of them, but you know, I'll take it. Then we got the log rollers.
Some of the boys like to flirt with the elf girls. I don't know why. They're so little. There's nothing to them.
Care to brawl? You look as stingy or as stringy as a wet Khajiit, and you smell twice as bad.
Haha! You're clever, you are. Let's see how well you take a blow. Try to put up a decent fight. Well, you're tougher than you look.
Damn right.
Some of the boys like to flirt with the elf girls. I don't know why. They're so little. There's nothing to them.
Oh, not drunk anymore. Let's go and fix that. And now we have Wood Sawyer. Yep, should be the last ones. Are you just not going to talk to me? You're the silent type, huh? Alright, bring it on. There you go. Let's go talk to Stone Crush, see what he has to say.
Well, you're not half bad, I'll give you that.
Will you fight to defend the rest of town?
I said I would, and I don't go back on my word. I hope the rest of the pact fights like you, not that milk-drinking Urano.
Now, like, who?
Ravel Urano, that dark elf here before you. He kept asking to buy our lumber so we'd leave town. I told him no, we had a contract to keep. But he offered to double it. No one pays that much for wood. Even good rift spruce. What a skeever.
Why did he want you to leave?
Don't know and didn't ask. His story smelled like last week's fish. Whole time we were talking, he kept looking around for a crack to ooze through, sweating like. The boys ran him off with a few light cuffs to the head. He hasn't come back since.
That does sound pretty suspicious.
Right. Things like that. They're exactly why we keep to ourselves in the Elven lands. That and the bad food. Anyway, you're all right. Tell that fancy Othrol we'll fight. Come back and drink with us again sometime.
Oh, I can do that. Definitely. Okay, so we convinced the Nords. And now we gotta worry about some guy named Urano. Was that his name? I already forgot, man. I'm really bad at that. Okay, and our next one, we'll just stroll through town here. We got the Dark Elves right up here. Let's go see what we can do for it to help them.
It can't be. They wouldn't. I have no reassurance to offer. Do what you think best in the time remaining.
What troubles you?
I am a disciple of the Tribunal. My people come to me for comfort, yet I have none to give. The three are silent. I lift my voice, but they do not answer. The Covenant circles Ebonheart, and I cannot even pray for wisdom.
Why can't you pray to the three?
The Tribunal punishes the people for my faithless ways. The shrines to Almalexia, Sothasil, and Vivek are surrounded by a foul smell and angry Aelit. Please, do what I cannot. Burn these flowers at the shrines, then pray for Ebonheart.
I'll see what I can do.
Burn the flowers at each shrine. They're a rare variety of gold carnet called Roland's Tears, and are sacred to the three. I pray they hear you.
Okay. So let's, where would the shrines even be? Let's check our map. Oh, okay. There's one to the west, north, and east side. So we'll kind of go around in a circle. I guess we can start with the north, since it's the furthest one. Let's get that one out of the way. Pile of awful. Awful? However you pronounce it. Just to get rid of that nasty smell. One more ailid around here. Poor mud crab. And let's pray at the shrine of Sothasil.
Speak.
Sildris wants to know if the tribunal hears his prayers.
All prayers are heard, not all are acknowledged.
Are you saying Sothasil doesn't care?
Every small cog drives a greater gear. Each is necessary, otherwise the whole collapses. When any cog shivers from the stresses on it, the master feels it, but the load he assigns it is no more than he knows it can bear.
And who is Sothasil?
Wizard, mystic, master of the Clockwork City, an architect of time and a binder of oblivion, one who masters the tools that mastered others. Does this answer satisfy?
Not really. It only leaves more questions.
Good. Seek. Learn. When you are prepared, find the master. He will be interested to hear your conclusions.
What a celebration. And while we're here, actually, there's a point of interest that we're just going to swim over to get. We'll just discover really quickly, and I believe there's also a lore book that we can get our hands on. What's that? I feel like I just ran over it. Oh, there it is. A little hidden in the corner here. History of the Fighters Guild, Part 1. In the 283rd year of the Second Era, Potentate Versued Shai was faced with the disintegrating empire. The vassal kingdoms throughout Tamriel had reached a new height of rebellion, openly challenging his rule. They refused his taxes and led sorties around or against the imperial garrison throughout the land. At the destruction of his fortress in Dawnstar, he gathered the Imperial Council in what would be called the Council of Bardmont after the town south of Dawnstar where they met. There, the potentate declared Catholic and universal martial law. The princes of Tamriel would dissolve their armies or face his wrath. The next 37 years were perhaps the bloodiest in the violent history of Tamriel. In order to crush the last of the royal armies, Versidue, Shai, these names, man, they killing me, had to sacrifice many of the best legions as well as spend nearly every last piece of gold in the imperial treasury, but he accomplished the unthinkable. For the first time in history, there was but one army in the land, and it was his own. The problems that immediately surfaced were almost as staggering as the triumph itself. The potentate had impoverished the land by his war, for the vanquished kingdoms had also spent the last of their gold in defense. Farmers and merchants alike had their livelihood ruined. Before the princes of Tamriel would not pay his taxes, now they could not. The only persons who benefited from the war were criminals who preyed upon the ruins of the lawless land, without fear and arrest now that all the local guards and militia were gone. It was a crisis the Akaviri had seen coming long before he destroyed the last of his subjects' armies, but for which he had no solution. He could not allow his vassals their own armies again, but the land was deeper into the stew of anarchy than it had been ever before. His army sought to fight the rise of the His army sought to fight the rise of crime, but a central authority was no threat against the local underworld. In the dawn of the year 320, a kinsman of Versadushai, Daenerys Ves, the Iron, presented himself with a host of companions before the potentate. It was he who suggested an order of mercantile warriors for hire, who could be hired by nobility in lieu of standing army. The employment would be temporary, and a percentage of their fees would go to the potentate's government, thus putting salve on two of Versadushai's greatest pains. Though it was then called the Siphon, after the Psyche word for soldiers, the organization that was to be known as the Fighters Guild had been born. And these words and names from the old era is just absurd. Doing my best to not absolutely muck it up, but you know, it is what it is. Is this a fishing spot we can... Nope, we've already done saltwater. Never mind. Alright, and so with that, we will head back, and I guess we'll go to the east side. We'll get that. Burn this second pile of offal here. Hop on up top. Pray to Almalexia.
My Lady Almalexia bids you carry a message to Disciple Sildrus.
What is this message?
The Tribunal does not abandon their people. Just as a parent shelters children from dangers they cannot comprehend, the three shelter the Dunmer from threats beyond their ken.
Is there anything more?
Tell him that my lady is mindful of his doubt and fear. There is no shame in either, so long as he helps others bear their burdens. By helping others, his fears will be allayed. But if he spreads his despair, my lady will chastise him.
And who is Almalexia?
You are the child whose soul was stolen. My lady is concerned for you. Almalexia is the merciful healing mother of the Dunmer. She is the most beloved of the Tribunal.
That can't be all.
I am merely a servant and messenger of my lady, not a teacher or priest. Seek the temples and libraries to learn more. Perhaps in time, you may speak to Almalexia herself.
That'd be nice. Maybe one day. Okay, so that is 2 down. And while we're here... No, more salt water. I was hoping it would be a different kind. But we'll head across the bridge again and get the third shrine to pray to. And then we'll head back into town. Goes the last pile of offal. Burn this up real quick. Hop right up here. And this one is to Vivek.
I appear at my lord's behest. Or perhaps I was always here, and you merely lacked the ability to see me.
Disciple Sildrus is wondering why the Tribunal is silent.
Actions carry conviction better than words. A skilled poet arranges for others to be where they should be, when they should be, to fulfill his needs and desires. Yet the question Sildrus asked was not the one in his heart.
What was the question in his heart?
A man of poisoned words put doubt in Sildrus's heart. He said the poet is less than he once was. Tell the disciple that Vivek's words and wit and way of war are as keen as always. What is Vivek beyond these?
And who is Vivek?
Vivek is a warrior poet, the ruthless and elegant soul of his people. He guides and protects all. Sharp of eye and tongue is he. Long is his reach. Longer is his spear. How can this question be on the lips of anyone in Morrowind?
You seem surprised that I asked.
The sermons of Vivek are beside every bed. Vivek's psalms are sighed from every maiden's lips. His wisdom makes his people as hard, capable, and enduring as the poet himself. All know Vivek, for Vivek would have it so.
Seems really kind of arrogant, huh? But, you know, I guess that's a living god for you.
They tell me you brought the Nords, Argonians, and Dunmer.
I can feel the blessings upon you. It's a power I've not felt myself for many years.
I am to comfort you. Almalexia protects us. She relies on you to aid her children.
I see. I hadn't considered there might be threats more grave than the Covenant invasion. You would think, given all we know of the treachery of Cold Harbor, that I would see that. What of Sotha Seal?
His messenger said he knows you are strong enough to bear your tasks.
I am ashamed. The three have shown more faith in me than I have in them. I dread asking this, but what of Lord Vivek?
He said not to worry about your true concern, that he is not who he once was.
Ha! Yes, I should have known. Vivek is the most subtle of the three. It's true, I've been counseling a Dunmer who questions his faith. He told me the Tribunal are losing their powers.
Did this dark elf have any proof?
Only indirectly. We see the three less every year. They no longer make their annual pilgrimage to Red Mountain on Vardenfell, and no one knows why. It all seemed so convincing when he said it.
And what is this dark elf's name?
His name is Ravil Urano. He hasn't come to pray for days now. He was in such despair, I think he'd even stopped bathing. The last time I saw him, he smelled terrible, like fresh offal.
Interesting, because the beasts surrounding the shrines were drawn there by piles of offal.
What? Have I been a fool? I questioned my faith for the flimsiest of reasons and caused others to question theirs. I have much to do to correct my failure. I wish I knew why Ravil Urano's doubting words were so compelling.
It's a good question. So that's the second one that he's kind of turned against everybody else. That's something we got to figure out. Seems like he's the underlying factor in all of these, but we have one more, I don't want to say faction, but like group of people to convince or turn back. And hopefully Urano is part of it, so we know exactly who to go after.
Another stranger swims into our wallow. I have no quarrel with you. We shall speak. But know that if you would help those trying to murder our Hist, I will speak with my teeth instead of my tongue.
What's wrong with your history?
It's dying. It was never healthy. This isn't Black Marsh after all. So in the last few weeks, it's withered. We've learned that House Drez is poisoning it. It's not enough to have enslaved us for generations. Now they want to carve our hearts out.
What can be done to save your Hist?
The best we can do is fertilize it. We're using mud crab meat wrapped in ash reed. Both are common around the quarter. We've also set guards around the tree to keep the Dunmer away.
Okay, so I'll go collect some fertilizer for you.
If you wish to aid us, gather the items I requested. Ash reeds grow in the tide pools in our quarter, and mud crabs thrive on the shores nearby. Gather some of each and present them at the roots of our Hist.
So who told you the Dark Elves are poisoning the Hist?
Some of our people heard a dark elf talking to others of his kind. He asked if they'd seen the Drez rowing out to our Hist tree. He saw jars of poison in the boat. That's not hard to believe.
And who was this dark elf?
Ravel Urano. My people overheard him at the inn. He was drunk and talking too loud. No one spoke to him directly. It's never been wise for an Argonian to confront a dark elf. Especially lately. We're far from Black Marsh.
And why do you think the Dres would do this?
The Dres have always regarded Argonians as little more than savage children. We needed to be civilized, so they uplifted us by putting us to work as slaves on plantations and in mines. No more. Now we speak beside them in the council.
And I already know I asked this, but who was the dark elf who claimed Dres poisoned the Hist?
Ravel Urano. My people overheard him at the inn. He was drunk and talking too loud. No one spoke to him directly. It's never been wise for an Argonian to confront a dark elf. Especially lately. We're far from Black Marsh.
So it sounds like none of the Argonians actually saw the Dres, the boat, or the poison.
No, but it's not difficult to believe, is it? The Dres think we're little more than animals. But the Pact freed us. What they can't enslave, they destroy.
You know, based on y'all's history, I can understand feeling like that for sure. But now that we know what we know about Urano, and the fact that he's been manipulating people around Ebonheart, I have a strong feeling that he's the one that's been doing this poisoning.
What do you have there? We are allowing no one to approach the Hist, especially strangers claiming they wish to help us. We just caught a dark elf trying to poison the tree.
I only had the ingredients you asked for.
Your words smell fair, but tasting is proof. Let me see what you have there.
Okay, I mean, it's just crab meat and ash reeds.
Yes, I erect the spine of apology. While you were away, we caught a dark elf defiling our Hist. Please, apply the fertilizer you've gathered to the base of our Hist. As long as I'm with you, the guards will let you through.
Tell me more about the dark elf you caught.
One of our guards is escorting him to my lodge. He seems half mad. He was doing something to the tree, and apparently he is of House Dres.
That doesn't sound good. Okay, let's go to the tree.
Let this one through. It's done. Meet me back at my lodge.
What's curious is there's literally a circle of guards just around the tree. So how did somebody sneak past them and try to poison it again? Or maybe he didn't actually make it through and they just caught him before he got there?
Do not fuel my wrath.
It seems we have proof that the Dres are trying to murder our tree.
This is the dark elf you mentioned?
While you were gathering mud crab meat and reeds, the guards caught him trying to harm our Hist. We can't get anything out of him but his name and house. Seems the rumors were true. House Dres is trying to murder our Hist.
And what was he exactly doing to the Hist?
He was scratching at the bark, licking our tree. When the guards shouted at him, he dropped an empty bottle. Now he's very ill. The truth is as plain as the face of Masser.
And will you allow me to speak to him?
You may do as you wish, but his mind is boiling. His words skitter like a mud crab in a pan. You will gather no moisture from this one.
We'll see.
I feel so hot. The mud outside was so cool. Could I go lie down in it?
What were you doing to the Hist?
What did I do? What did it do to me? I see. I feel. I'm awake. I touched it. It smelled like flowers and black earth. It tasted like rain and summer wind. and the deepest green.
You tasted the tree?
He said the tree's sap would be better than skooma. He was right. He said the Argonians might be angry. Do you think they're angry? To me, they always look angry. It's the teeth.
You had a bottle. What was in it?
He gave me the bottle, said it was for the tree. I thought it was skooma. I tasted it. It was bad. I fed it to a lizard. He didn't like it either. He died. The bottle broke. How can I fill it with sap?
And someone encouraged you to do this? Who?
I never saw him before. I asked him for coin to get more skooma. He was a Dunmer. Someone called him Bravil? Weevil? Wabberjack? Ravil, that's it.
Ravel?
Rano again, huh?
I can't believe it. Ravel!
You recognize the name too?
Ravel Urano claimed he saw House Dres poison our history. Then he gave a bottle to this tree-licking waste of flesh. I smell worm scat. Someone has been playing us for fools, and I no longer believe it's House Dres.
I don't either. I'm right there with you. Okay. So now we'll go to Drathis and let him know what's been going on.
Do not waste my time.
Have our town's fortunes improved?
All of Ebonheart is ready to defend the city.
That's a great relief. Well done. The Covenant troops haven't left their encampment to the west, but it's only a matter of time before our inactivity encourages them.
So a dark elf named Ravel Urano was somehow involved each and every time.
I don't know this, Mer. Why would he cause so much trouble? Perhaps he's an agent of Sheogorath. That's an unpleasant thought. The Daedra of Chaos is worse than any mere Covenant army. Can you aid me further?
Perhaps. What would you like me to do?
Ravel must have a house in town. I'd like you to find it and watch him. I'd like to see myself, but I'm sure he'll recognize me. So I'll need to cast a spell on you.
What kind of spell?
Commoners would call it a scrying spell, but I'm beyond such crude hedge magic. It will enable me to see and hear what you do. Furthermore, I'll be able to speak to you.
Okay, go ahead and cast your spell.
Search for Ravil's home. I expect it's on the west side of town. You should be able to hear me now.
So what I'm confused about is he hasn't heard of this guy before, but he knows that his house is on this side of town, or
There he is.
has a house.
Let's follow him.
You don't see me. Just gonna keep my distance. Tiptoe around.
Hey, Ravel! No waffle today. The temple's forbidden all sales.
Quiet, fool. I paid you for your discretion, remember?
Look here. It's that fancy sod was in our camp. Hey, fancy man. Fallen on any swords lately? Saying we shouldn't help the Dunmer? Like a Nord would ever turn down a fight.
Damn right. Yeah, you tell him. Should have fought him right then and there. Can I get down here? Yeah, there we go.
The drunk one took your advice, Silvertongue. He now regrets it. For shame.
It was just idle talk, friend. I assure you, I had nothing to do with it.
Didn't you, though? You'd think my little pet here would give me away. Just bright purple, shining.
He went into that shack. Wait for him to leave.
Maybe sneak around the side here.
He's out. That was fast.
It was very fast, actually, yeah.
Try to get inside that shack. A communication spell. Let's see who Ravil called.
Ofer. What now, Ravil? So you're the meddler who undid all of Ravel's work. Such a waste of my time.
Who the hell was that? Huh. Okay. Well, let's go tell him. Actually, he saw it. I don't need to go tell him.
That woman wore a Covenant uniform. Ravil must be working for the enemy.
That's what it, I guess
Go
that's
to
better
his
than
house and see what you can find. I'll send my guards.
Okay, I'll do that. Better than Sheogorath, I guess, as you were saying. But we actually have another lore book on the docks here. So before we head over to Ravel's house, we'll go and partake in this story.
This work isn't going to do it.
Nords of Skyrim. My people, my pride. Respected reader, my name is Hrothmund Wolfheart, and I'm a Nord. But more importantly, I'm a Nord born and raised in the land of Skyrim. I write this volume in the desperate hope that the rest of Tamriel can come to know my people as they deserve to be known, and understand this province for what it truly is, a place of uncontested beauty and culture. Some of what you know is undoubtedly true. Physically, we Nords are an impressive, often imposing sight, tall of stature, strong of bone, and thick of muscle. Our hair is often fair and worn braided, as has been the custom for generations. Often we are swathed in the hides of beasts, for such creatures are abundant in Skyrim, and we wouldn't be foolish not to take advantage of such an available resource. Having read this far, you may be shocked at the strength of my words and the literacy of a northern savage. I, many Nords, can both read and write. My father began my instruction in the way of letters when I was but a bairn, as did his father and his father before him. But the accomplishments of the children of Skyrim are a multitude and go beyond mere wordcraft. For we are artisans as well, and through the ages have learned to manipulate steel the way a sculptor would clay. Indeed, I have seen with mine own eyes visitors from High Rock and Cyrodiil weep in disbelief as they behold the blades wrought in the fires of the Skyforge and honed to beautiful deadliness by the gods' touched hands of Clan Greymane. But how can this be true, you ask? How are such achievements possible from a people who have yet to emerge from the muck and snow? Again, provincial bias clouds the truth. The cities of Skyrim are a testament to Nord ingenuity and craftsmanship. Chief among them are Solitude, seat of the High King and capital of the province Windhelm, ancient and honored, a jewel in the snow, Markarth carved into the living rock itself, in ages long since past, Riften, nestled in the golden shadows of the fall forest, whence comes delicious fish and mead in Whiterun, built along the hall of Jorvaskr, home of the most noble companions in revered Skyforge. And now, respected reader, you have the full measure of it. We Nords are everything you imagine and so much more. But let not this work be your only gateway to the truth. Book passage on carriage or vessel and make the journey north. See Skyrim with thine own eyes. See Skyrim as have the Nords since the gods first shaped the world. That was really good. Really paints a good light on Nords.
What are you doing here?
Won't take. Cornell gave me potions.
Get fucked. Is anything to read in here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's head out.
The guards heard fighting. I assume you found more inside than just evidence?
Ravel attacked me. I had to kill him.
Having him alive might have been useful, but having him dead is just as good. The ritual items in the shack on the docks and his belongings might tell us something more.
Okay, awesome. Looks like we restored order, which is very good. Let's see if there's anything else that can be done around here. Order the Eye dispatch, that's for elsewhere, I believe. Oh, not real.
Ah, my business partner. I've located another rare and valuable vintage here in Ebonheart. Are you willing to acquire it for me?
Sounds interesting.
There's a bottle of white gold tower here in Ebonheart. The war wizard who owns it retired to this town and opened an inn. Phadrasa Andrethi took the bottle off the battlefield. Now it's gathering dust in her private reserve.
And who is she?
She was a decorated soldier in the Ebonheart Pact. Now she tends to guests at the Ebony Flask. Her Nightflower servants probably know her best. If you want to know how to get that bottle, talk to one.
Okay, that wine will be yours.
Just let me know what I can do to help.
What can you tell me about this wizard?
She used to serve in the Morrowind army as a war wizard. I think the explosions were too much for her. After she retired from service, she opened the Ebony Flask with Darvinil Sarvel.
Any advice on where I should start?
Not exactly, but then again, that's your side of this business, isn't it? My only advice is to talk to the Nightflowers at the inn. In their line of work, they learn all the best secrets.
Makes sense.
Just let me know what I can do to help.
Okay. So go right across the road here. And Nightflowers, I'm assuming that he probably means escorts, I guess you can call them.
Will you be staying in Ebonheart long, Sirio? I'm sure we could make your stay more pleasant.
Yeah, they're definitely workers of the night. What can you tell me of your mistress?
I don't hate her, but there's no love lost between the Nightflowers and Phadrasa. She regards us a necessary evil. She doesn't even partake of our talents. Plus, she's incredibly jumpy.
What do you mean by jumpy?
My guess is she's caught one too many fireball blasts in the war. She still hates loud noises. There's an alchemist next door who's constantly testing flash powder and sulfurs. If she hears so much as a pop, she jumps right out of her skin.
Interesting. Okay. One more to talk to?
Staying in Ebonheart long, Sirio? I'm sure I could make your stay more pleasant.
What can you tell me about your mistress?
Lady Phadrasa. I don't care for her, actually, but the money here at the Ebony Flask is good. If it wasn't, Tamriel and I would have cleared out long ago.
Why don't you care for her?
She's just too jumpy. They say the Agaviri War made her twitchy. She's easily startled by the strangest things, like lizards. Those lizards infesting the Argonian Quarter drive her crazy.
Oh. So looks like we got a rat situation that we could do the same to here. Or we can go and get... I think this one's closer. Yeah. We'll just pop next door, get the flash powder, and give her a little scare. Don't mind me. There we go. Nice and easy.
To me, troops! Back you down!
Oh, she is PTSD all the way.
What's that distinctive bottle I see peeking from your pack?
I have it.
Masterfully done. Truly a procurement worthy of praise and reward. It's an honor and a privilege doing business with you, friend.
Okay, very nice. I wonder if he shows up in all the major towns here. I don't know. Okay, so no more quests to be had in town here. We've gotten the lore books, the point of interest. Let's see if there's anything outside the gates here. Okay, I think you're new.
We want no trouble, Outlander. My injury doesn't keep me from stringing a bow.
How did you get hurt?
A Nyx hound attacked our caravan. He savaged my leg and carried off one of our guar.
Is that sort of thing normal in Stonefalls?
No. Lately we've sighted savage creatures in the wastelands. They're more than a match for our tribe's hunters. Great rewards await any hunter who can bring them to ground.
I can do this, whatever these creatures may be.
The first is Varnog, a feral Nyx hound. The next is worse, Bliger, a vicious and territorial bullnetch. Worst of all is a clanfear named Gerlisk.
So tell me about, actually, where can I find Bliger?
He floats along the shore west of here. Do not ask me the origin of his name. I assume it stems from the way netches float through the air.
And what do you know about Gerlisk?
Strange story, that. Summoned by an old conjurer who lived in the hills east of Kragenmoor. The conjurer died, but it stayed. No one knows why, and no hunters ever tracked it to its lair.
And then tell me about Varnag.
He's the least vicious of the three, but look what he did to my leg. We met him on the road southeast of Ebonheart. Our best guess is he escaped from a goblin tribe, or ate them.
And why are you visiting Ebonheart?
We drove our guar here to trade. The Ashlands give our tribe many things such as food and shelter. They aren't as generous with medicinal potions or steel.
Why not live in town then?
Ha! Even if we would have the housemen, they wouldn't have us. They won't even let us within their walls to trade. We must stay outside, bedding with their animals.
What? Why won't they let you inside?
But because they're heretics. Or because we are, whichever you prefer. We hold true to the faith of our ancestors. The worship of Azura, Boethia, and Mephala.
And the housemen, you called them?
They believe the three elders of their tribunal are gods. We know the truth. The so-called three are murderers and necromancers.
Oh, that's quite an accusation. Tell me more.
Now? Here? No, I've already said too much. I have no love for the housemen. My people need their wares. Ask someone else.
And can you tell me anything more than you already have about the creatures I'm hunting?
The first is Varnog, a feral nixhound. The next is worse, Bliger, a vicious and territorial bullnetch. Worst of all is a clanfear named Gerlisk.
Okay, that's what I thought you would say. Just some stuff you've already said before. Okay. So I think one's actually, yeah, the first one here, Varnag. It's actually pretty close by. So what we can do, we'll go fight him and then kind of make our way around this little loop here. Go to Fort Arend.
Drotha's told everyone who would listen how you discovered that spy.
Where's this? Yeah, over to Vivek Sandler's. Okay. So we'll kind of make a loop around and end up there for our story. Okay. Yeah, definitely not that much of a threat, honestly. And on that note, we are going to end the episode here for today. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. And I will see you guys on the next one.